There's a power within you. It lifts your life to its highest level. It brings success, companionship, happiness, health, and peace of mind. As you tap into this power, it will respond to you because this power is within you. And that's why spirituality rocks. Welcome to another fantastic episode. I'm your host, Dr. Janine Burns. I teach practical spirituality, and each week I bring you nationally renowned guests, authors, and teachers. And the goal of the show is to empower you to awaken your divine nature, expand your consciousness as you learn skills for life mastery. And this week I have a fantastic episode stored up for you. But first I want to do a little business and let you know some things that are going on. Coming up, March 13th to the 15th is the Gold Rush Women's Conference. You can check it out at www.Gold Rush Women's Conference. I'll be one of the presenters at that conference in the general session, as will Sheila McKeithen and an upcoming guest, Stephanie Wilson Coleman, Lisa DeSnow, Sunny Bohm, and Jackie Trish Atkins. The list goes on and on. If you can get away for that weekend, it is a fantastic, fantastic seminar. It's held in Chicago. So do check it out at www.goldrushwomensconference.com. It's held from March 13th to the 15th. And then, if you'd like to go on a spiritual cruise, we're having a cruise in consciousness. That's the name of it. I'm on the planning committee. That is facilitated by the affiliated New Thought Network. That is going to be cruising to Cozumel out of Fort Lauderdale on April 16th through the 20th. Our keynote speaker is Sheila McKeithen, Martha Creek, who's been on the show recently, as well as Sunny Bohm and Jean Sweet. They've all actually been on Spirituality Rocks. They are all presenters during that conference. It's going to be fantastic. It's just been falling into place like a row of dominoes. It's going to be awesome. So please check that out too at newthought.org. That's www.newthought.org. Alrighty then. So let me tell you about today's show. I have, later in the show, Dr. Michael Posner. Dr. Michael Posner is a chiropractor who wrote this book. It's called Well Adjusted, and it's a journey of transformation for body, mind, and spirit. It is such a comprehensive book. And why did I decide to have a chiropractor on Spirituality Rocks? Because he is the embodiment of practical spirituality. His whole life journey is of someone who didn't know that there was something that we call New Thought, didn't know that there were certain spiritual communities that you could go and learn a specific course of study. It's something that he's found out by himself, and that after years and years of practice and study, that he's really created so many wonderful experiences and exercise and information in his book. So we'll get to him a little later, but my first guest is via Skype. She actually lives in Wisconsin, but she's joining us from California today. Our guest is a certified herbalist and an aromatherapist. She has a passion for God's pharmacy. She also is a New Thought minister. I'd like to welcome to the show Karen Balistrieri. Welcome to Spirituality Rocks.
Thank you, Janine. It's a pleasure being here.
Awesome. So tell us exactly, what is a certified herbalist?
Well, back in 1988, I had a health challenge, and frankly, the drug I was on was making me sicker, so I turned to God's pharmacy. I was so intrigued by how my situation played out that I started studying herbs enough, through about 7 years, that I thought I'll become certified in this.
So God's pharmacy is using herbs and essential oils.
Yeah. Anything that's grown from the earth is God's pharmacy.
Got it. Okay.
And essential oils are just a higher concentration of that herb. 1 drop of peppermint essential oil is the equivalent to probably a half a pound of raw peppermint leaves. That's how condensed an essential oil is of the plant. So the herbal part of my studies just led right into the aromatherapy.
Fantastic.
And that was 3 years ago. So I've been passionate about this for 20 to 25 years.
That's awesome. Now, I know in particular you favor young living essential oils because they are organic.
They're not only organic, they're the purest oil that I've ever discovered. They're the only company in North America that takes their product from seed to seal, which means they're in charge of the farming, the harvesting, the distillation, and taking it right into the bottle. And you will find other oils are bought from brokers. And many times the broker dilutes the oil with chemicals like propylene glycol. Well, we
Oh,
never do that. Our oils are pure. We guarantee them. They are, well, we're the world leader in essential oil. We're the largest grower of lavender in the world between our Idaho and Utah and France farms.
I see.
Grow a lot of lavender. Lavender and peppermint are probably the most used oils in the world.
Okay, now the oils, from what I've read, have certain properties and they evoke and promote and cull certain responses in the body. So, what is lavender typically used for?
Lavender can be used for anything. We nicknamed it the Swiss Army knife. So I don't care if you have a headache or an upset stomach. The ancients called lavender a comfort to the stomach. If I have a paper cut or a cut, I can put a drop of lavender on that and it seals it up and brings comfort. Lavender has calming qualities, very calming. And it helps people go into alpha and get into a prayer or meditative state much more quickly. For people who have sleep issues, I recommend a few drops in the palm of the hand, inhale it deeply before sleep, and then rub the residue of that oil on your pillowcase. So as you turn from side to side at night, you will be inhaling that lavender and you'll have a more restful sleep.
Yes, that's fantastic. Especially the application that you just mentioned, how you could, smell it and rub it on your pillow. I like that a lot. Now, what was the other one? Now, that's the Swiss Army knife of oils is lavender. And the other you
Right.
mentioned was?
The other one I mentioned was peppermint.
Peppermint. Okay.
And peppermint does the opposite of lavender. Peppermint is highly energizing. It's
Oh.
good. There's not a restaurant in the world that doesn't give you a peppermint candy other than McDonald's or your fast food restaurants or a toothpick because peppermint is a great digestive aid.
Okay.
So whether it's in the form of a candy, but the one drop of peppermint that I put on my tongue or I inhale is the equivalent to 26 cups of peppermint tea. So it's not an oil that I want to be using, after dinner necessarily because it could keep me awake. But then, of course, I have my lavender to take me back down into alpha.
Okay, so I heard you just say you actually put a drop of it in your tea.
In tea or on my tongue. I can do it either way. One can use oils aromatically. You can use them topically, internally, in a massage. I can put it in a capsule. The Young Living oils are medicinal grade. They're so pure that I can put any oil Young Living makes in a capsule and take it internally.
Uh-huh. Yes, I see. Well, I've spoken to you about essential oils, and you turned me on to one called Thieves, which
Yes.
I carry it in my purse at this point. I'm very into the Thieves. I have used it all winter and have had no maladies whatsoever. I just love that essential oil. Can you tell the little legend behind how the Thieves essential oil was formulated, please?
Thieves is a blend of cinnamon, clove, lemon, eucalyptus, and rosemary. And between the middle 1300s and the middle 1600s, there were plagues in Europe. They actually took out 1/3 of the population. And one of those plagues was during Shakespeare's time. If you ever saw the movie Shakespeare in Love, they referred to shutting down the theater because of the plague. So back in that era, people, they were pretty unclean, and it could have been the rats, and their health and their sanitation conditions were deplorable. But aside from that, there were men that put these kerchiefs over their nose. They were saturated with a vinegar solution and probably cinnamon and clove because they were spice traders. And they could go to the bodies that were left on the streets and take off their jewelry or their valuables where even their family wouldn't touch them. So what we know is that cinnamon has a kill rate of bacteria and virus up to 96%. And this is proven. This is research. I mean, they'll put a drop of any kind of bacteria or virus in a petri dish and test 50 different oils to see which one will kill the virus or the bacteria the fastest. So cinnamon's at the top of the list. Thyme is a good one for that. Oregano. A lot of people are aware of oregano. There's entire books written on oregano, and cinnamon and clove. And people, today, anybody who has blood sugar issues is aware that cinnamon is a good thing, but they're sprinkling a little powdered cinnamon in their coffee or their latte or on their oatmeal. And I want them to know that even the best cinnamon in the world only has maybe a 5% oil content in it. The rest of it is not essential. Whereas the essential oil of cinnamon, one drop is 100% cinnamon. So do you see the difference?
Yeah, indeed. It's much more concentrated. And with the story with the thieves, I guess the name came from then when the people had the plague or whatever, and these people would go up and steal their jewelry, and they were thieves. Yep. Yeah.
Exactly. So they were thieves.
Right.
And the kings or the serfdoms of of that time period said, well, if you don't tell us what we're doing, we're going to kill you. So they revealed their mixtures. And if you look at what grows around the Mediterranean, I mean, if you get further south, of course, these plagues ran all through Europe. It wasn't just England. It was France, it was Spain, Italy. And you'll find lemon and you'll find rosemary. And the cinnamon and the clove came across the Silk Trail, which was the spice traders' trail. That's also the frankincense trail. So this is Spirituality Rocks, and I would like to tell everybody, the ancients felt that frankincense was good for everything from the head to the toe, the head being a headache and the toe being gout. It's a woodsy, balsamic fragrance, and it has the ability to calm and bring you into a state of receptivity for prayer and meditation. So thieves and frankincense are probably two of my favorite oils. I use them both daily.
Yeah, I definitely use the thieves daily for sure. And not only do I use it internally to keep myself healthy, I use it on my hands to keep them bacteria free, because those little gels that you buy in the store, they just trash your hands. They just
they're alcohol.
They're alcohol based, right? Yeah.
And
my throat, I smell it. I do that it's in my purse right now. And believe me, I have a very small pocketbook. I have a tote bag, but I don't carry around very much at all. So fantastic. I love what you said about frankincense, that those of us who are spiritual and want to create this space for us to get quiet down and go into prayer, that's a good application for frankincense.
It's one of the best.
Yeah. You know what? I would love to have you back on another episode so that we can learn more about spirituality and essential oils. But right now, since you, Reverend Karen, also are a New Thought minister, New Thought chaplain, I would like to invite you to say what we call a spiritual mind treatment, where you actually treat your mind, shift your consciousness to a new thought, and give us an affirmative prayer. Would you be willing to do so?
I certainly would.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's just go into that sacred space, and I wish for all of you that you are inhaling the beautiful frankincense, the scent of frankincense, or lavender, or whatever scent would open up that amygdala, because what I know is there is only God, and God is here, right now, within all of us. It is in us, it's around us, it's through us, it's in everyone and everything we could possibly feast our eyes on. And what I know, God, is that you have truly blessed me with God's pharmacy. It might have taken an illness for me to make that 180 turn, but I did it willingly in 1988, and I've been thrilled ever since. And you've always led me to the next thing, the next product, the next fragrance, the next property. And I'm so happy to say in the last 25 years, I have not taken an antibiotic, because I have thieves and I have other things. And my husband and I are well beyond Medicare age. And you know what? We're both pain-free. And I can't say that about a lot of people that are in their 70s. Plus, I'm drug-free. I'm happy that I can address everything in my life. I'm thrilled that the creator of our universe has provided for everything that I need in my life. And I always love sharing that with others. And what I intend is that we all find safe solutions for our family, because the dogs and the children and the cats and all the pets, all the children, all the grandparents, everybody deserves a life of better health. And I accept that greater health for myself, and I accept it for you. And I give great thanks for Spirituality Rocks. It's a fabulous program, and I'm so grateful that I've known Reverend Janine for years now. So it certainly is just a pleasure for me to impart whatever knowledge or whatever wisdom I have about God's pharmacy.
And thank you.
I release these words right here, right now. And I say, thank you, God. I am truly blessed.
And so it is wonderful. Well, we thank you so much for joining us on Spirituality Rocks. If you'd like to learn more about it, you can go to www.youngliving.com. Correct?
Yes, if you can do a / sign up after that, and then you could put in my name or number if you wanted to explore the site.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on another episode. And stay tuned. Please don't go too far. We have a brief commercial break. We'll be back with more of Spirituality Rocks.
Thank you, Janine.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physicians on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
$1.3 million women are victims of physical assault by an intimate partner each year. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, the majority of cases aren't reported to the police. Most people who are in an abusive relationship don't even know they're in one. The truth is, All abusive relationships boil down to one thing: control.
How do you like it? My new dress.
Are you out of your mind? You look like a prostitute. We're not going out with you dressed up like that in public.
But what am I supposed to wear?
Wear something decent. You can't wear that out in public. We're going to be late. Get back in there and pick a different outfit. I'm going to go run some errands. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Please be ready, okay?
Fine, I'll change. Fine.
Abuse is not always physical, leaving wounds that are visible on the outside. Emotional abuse is just as painful, only these wounds are hidden on the inside.
Are you out of your mind? You're crazy. You look like a prostitute.
Know that abuse is abuse, no matter what the form.
Look at me.
Oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Physical abuse scars the body,
I just wanted to love me.
but mental abuse scars the mind.
What you just saw was an example of a relationship that is emotionally abusive. Nobody has the right to tell you how to dress or how to act. If someone really cares for you, they won't tear you down. They will build you up.
How do you like it?
Wow. You look great. Fantastic. But then again, you look great all the time.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd like it. It's my new dress. I bought it just so we could go out tonight.
You look stunning.
Thank you. But I think I'm going to take a sweater just in case it gets cold tonight.
Great idea. I'm going to take one too. Let's go.
All relationships are not perfect, but a healthy relationship is when two people bring out the best in each other and have each other's good in mind. Take your time to know someone instead of rushing into something. It is better not to involve yourself with an abusive person than to try and get out of a domestic violence situation.
If someone is abusive to you and you need help, please call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. They have highly trained experts available 24/7 who will speak with you confidentially and offer information regarding the unhealthy aspects of your relationship, resources, or immediate support for victims to find safety and live lives free of abuse. Domestic violence affects us all.
It affects us all.
It affects us all.
모두에게 영향을 줍니다.
Che ci ricarte tutte.
It affects us all.
Domestic violence.
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I'm your host, Janine Burns, and we have a great episode for you today. With us now in studio, we are at Deer Park, Long Island. I want to give a shout out to owners of the studio, Vicki and Tom Mealy, for being our production people today. And my guest today is a well-known chiropractor in the Long Island community. He practices out of Huntington. He is a practitioner of meditation and yoga. He has a black belt in martial arts, as well as he does Tai Chi, Qigong, and it's just absolutely remarkable. He's such a self-actualized individual, which is why I decided to have him on the show, even though he's not from the New Thought tradition, because he's someone who's taken the principles that we believe in our body and has naturally learned them and naturally has actualized them in his life. So I'd like to welcome to the show Dr. Michael Posner.
Thank you very much, Janine. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you, and I'm very excited about your work. I'm especially excited about your book, Love the title. Very clever there. Well adjusted. Why do I like it? Because it's a journey of transformation for body, mind, and spirit. And as I read through it, not only did I learn about chiropractic and I learned about my nervous system, but I also learned about having a healthier mind and body, because you have some wonderful things in here. I like you have the inner smile, which we'll talk about a little later. You have Tai Chi, Thai yoga exercises in the book, and on and on. So tell us, I'm not sure everybody really knows about chiropractic and what it actually is. Tell us about, in a nutshell, what is chiropractic?
Well, chiropractic is a philosophy, an art, and a science. The philosophical aspect says that there's a universal consciousness, which some people refer to as God or
infinite intelligence and new thought, divine mind, love, all these names.
Exactly. And that force individuates and is in each human being.
Basic new thought principle.
And chiropractic calls that innate intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Other systems call it chi or prana.
Or infinite intelligence.
Yes, there's a lot of words to describe it, but chiropractic uses the word innate intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, chiropractic is about the relationship of your innate intelligence to universal energy. So there are various things in life that cause innate intelligence to be blocked. Now, let me just say that innate intelligence flows through the nervous system, and the brain controls everything through that system. All body systems, organs, glands, even down to the very cell. Now, toxicity, negative emotions, and traumas. And a trauma could mean that I'm on the phone like this every day for many years. It doesn't mean you have to have a
Doesn't
serious
necessarily
accident.
mean an emotional trauma or a physical trauma.
Right, I'm talking about physical traumas now.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you have an accident,
Right.
because it could just be something that you do repetitively in life daily
Okay.
that adds up to a big stress at some point.
Okay.
So these stresses lodge themselves in our muscles, and muscles function to move bones. So when the body gets tight on one side of the spine, it pulls out the vertebrae, and the nerve gets pinched. When the nerve gets pinched, you have a dysfunction of the communication. And as we know in life, when you're not communicating, there's always problems. Same thing outside of us, same thing inside of us. It's a reflection of all that is. So chiropractors are very trained to specifically find out where that blockage is, and with their hands, some doctors use instruments as well, to remove that interference and let the body heal itself. Because basically the body always heals itself. Even when you're taking a medication, which, by the way, we don't use. That's why in my book I said it's God's gift to man, because it's all natural, and it connects us to our higher self through the elimination of blockages in life force energy.
Okay, so then you mentioned the nervous system. Could you go into a little more detail about that? I see you've brought a chart with you. You've also brought an example of the spine. Explain to us about the nervous system, please.
Okay, let me just get my spine here.
Okay.
Okay.
It's kind of funny. Let me get my spine.
Okay, so you can see here that the nerves exit through these little holes.
Are those yellow things nerves?
Yes, these are nerves.
Okay.
And these are the vertebrae.
Right.
And these are points that muscles attach to. So let's say this is your right side of your body and this side gets tight. Well, it pulls the vertebrae, and notice what happens to the nerve. It gets pinched.
It gets squished.
Yes.
Pinched.
And that can cause inflammation, it could cause scar tissue, or it could be the disc might get imbalanced and it can protrude onto the nerve root. So wherever this nerve is going, it's going to cause a dysfunction. So usually nerves innervate a muscle, a gland, an organ, or some body system. So chiropractic or chiropractors are trained to analyze, locate, and realign the vertebrae to take the pressure off. When that pressure's off, the body just heals itself. The body is a self-healing, self-regulating mechanism. It's designed to heal. I mean, after all, it created itself. Nobody told it what to do.
Right.
There's some profound intelligence that is guiding us. And chiropractic can connect you to that intelligence. When you get very in tune with yourself, you can actually start to feel these subluxations.
Oh, so you can feel when you
Yes.
need to have a shift. Okay, so then, so how long does it take to repair a subluxation? I mean, once you adjust it, do the muscles pull it back out, or what happens?
Yes, that tends to happen because muscles have memory.
Okay.
So usually it takes a series of visits to break down that pattern and set up a new neurological pathway. So one of the things I do in my practice is I integrate massage therapy, therapeutic exercises, heat to address the muscle. And also I show people breathing exercises to help them relax more. And the more you do that and the more you train the muscle, the longer and quicker the subluxation will be eliminated. And by the way, a subluxation is the same as a pinched nerve.
Okay. Okay. And so you actually, so you use massage, you teach exercises, and I'm a big fan of breathing exercises. So that's fantastic. It's just a wonderful way to still the body and release stress. Such an instant technique. It's great.
You know, it's funny, we breathe all day long, but most people don't know how to breathe properly.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
It really is. You know.
Our breath gets caught. Sometimes it gets caught in the upper chest, or sometimes in the abdomen, and we don't have a full, free, flowing breath.
Absolutely. When people go into a stress response, their energy tends to rise.
Right.
So they start clenching their jaws, and they feel tightness in their neck and throat, and their chest gets very tight. Their diaphragm gets constricted and stops working. So the whole breathing apparatus is all messed up. And I'll tell you the truth, you cannot possibly relax if you don't breathe properly. Breathing is so essential to reduce stress in your life, and it's one of the things that I focus on as an essential technique for stress management.
Absolutely. One of my colleagues years ago, she used to tease me because I was so into breathing. But breathing is wonderful. It's a great precursor to meditating, and it's just, you just feel so much vitally alive when you know how to breathe properly. When you actually practice breathing exercise, people think you got to practice breathing. Yeah, because it's a wonderful tool. One of the things that about chiropractor is that, and I was reading in your material, is that in conventional medicine, they address symptoms, and you're giving, I was going to say potions, that's medicine. You're giving medicine to help you with these particular symptoms, and it doesn't get to the root of the problem. And so you're saying that as you do, and it seems to be a holistic method, what you're talking about.
Yes.
This is what is going to affect
the
cause, and then affect real change.
Absolutely. Just treating the symptom is an illusion. You know, it's like, could you imagine this? There's a building on fire, the alarm goes off, the firemen rush up to the building, put out the alarm, and leave. And they don't put out the fire. That's sort of what drugs do. So the key is we want to put the fire out, not just the alarm. Sounds pretty silly when you think
No, it's a
about
great
it.
example, a fascinating example for me, yeah. So then you do more than chiropractic, obviously, rather than just adjust the body. And I know there's all different types of chiropractic because I've read about it.
Yes.
But apparently, you do the massage, you do the exercise, but I also read that you help your patients to become emotionally balanced.
Yes.
Tell
Well,
me more.
one of the things that we do is a very simple thing. We teach people how to smile. Let me show you what I mean.
We have a commercial break.
Oh, okay.
So you know what? That'd be perfect to teach the people about the inner smile.
Yes.
And that's going to affect their emotional balance and their well-being. Okay,
Absolutely.
Great. So stay tuned. We're going to have a brief commercial break. We'll be back in just a little while with more of Spirituality Rocks.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am.
Janine Gates is the #1 fence provider on Long Island, with the most inventory in stock, including vinyl, chain link, and aluminum. Gates offers a custom powder-coated system that prevents rust throughout the life of the fence. We carry fence tools to the trade. We even stock wood, rail, and glass hardware as well. Shannon Gates has our very own patented locking system. The next time you need fencing of any sort, both commercial and private, give Shannon Gates a call at 631-392-4330. You can also visit our website at shannongatesinc.com.
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I would like you to know that if you'd like to check out past episodes of Spirituality Rocks, you can go to our website, www.spiritualityrockstv.com. That's www.spiritualityrockstv.com, or go over to YouTube. And on YouTube, you can type in Spirituality Rocks and search for your preferred guest that you'd like to watch. You can also go to My Madhouse TV. And so we are filming live today in Deer Park, Long Island at the Madhouse TV studio, where there's lots of snow outside. But inside it's nice and warm because we are going to learn right now about the inner smile with Dr. Michael Posner. He's a chiropractor. You can check him out on the web at www.huntington chiropractor. That's HUNTINGTON, huntingtonchiropractor.com. Tell us about this, what you're talking about, your inner smile. Tell us more.
Okay.
This is to balance and harmonize ourselves, correct?
Yes.
And am I calling it inner smile properly?
Yes, you are.
Do I need to stand?
No, you don't.
Okay.
I just want to show you the relationship of the eyes to the rest of the body. If you
Okay.
can see these green and yellow lines,
Right.
that's the autonomic nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also see that those lines connect to every gland and every organ.
Yes, indeed.
So we know that the eyes are called the window of the soul, and
Yeah.
we know that when we smile, you get feelings of joy and happiness, and it's kind of universal. When you smile at people, they tend to smile back. So the eyes are very powerful, and they have an energy. Now, when we're walking down the street and you see something terrible happen, the first thing people tend to do is go, "Oh my God, that kid got hit by a car."
And they hold their breath?
Hold their organs. They hold their breath, they hold their organs, or they hold their abdomen, because something happened inside. They got hurt.
Right.
So that energy was kind of a negative force for their organs.
Okay.
So if that can happen, the same thing can happen with positive energy.
Okay.
So when many years ago I said to my Tao master, I said, "Master Chia," he said, "you have to learn to love yourself." And I said, "Okay." It's a cliche. I've been hearing it a long time. I was a young man at the time. And I said, "Okay, Master Chia, how do you love yourself?" He said, "Love your organs. Love your body. Love your organs.
Love your body."
So I said, "Okay, that's interesting. I can relate to that." So one of the things that the Tao teaches is that all of these organs and glands have emotions attached to them.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, the negative emotion of the heart is hastiness and impatience and arrogance. When you have those feelings, it hurts your heart. The negative emotion of the lungs is sadness and depression. Of the liver and gallbladder, anger.
And let me tell you something that you may or may not know. And in New Thought, we have something called mental equivalence, and that's what Emmett Fox, the great Emmett Fox, incredible teacher and author, he wrote the book Sermon on the Mount, which was used before the big book was used in AA. And mental equivalence is that for every physical manifestation, illness, there is a mental cause. So you need a physical and mental causation to have an illness. And so what you're referring to then is the same similar thing, is that the thought and the emotion correspond to a certain organ.
Exactly.
So it goes right with what we teach.
And if you heal your organs, you can heal your emotions.
And if you heal your emotions, you heal your organs.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the stomach and spleen and pancreas have worry. People worry, have those kind of problems. People have a lot of fear, have kidneys and bladder problems. So this is a very simple exercise. You smile into your face and you create a loving, happy memory, and you feel that energy accumulating in the eyes, and then you bring it into the heart, and you feel love in your heart, and that love radiates out to the lungs, and then you go to the liver and gallbladder and to the stomach, pancreas and spleen, and then to the kidneys and bladder. So you're sending that positive, loving energy. It's like a waterfall flowing down your body, sending love to yourself. And that is so healing. And everybody could smile. And you know what? You can't tell me you don't have time to breathe and smile.
Right.
Because you must do those things every day.
Exactly.
So it's a very potent,
and simple,
very simple, and very powerful for transforming the negative energy of your emotions into positive. So it's a very virtuous approach, but simple.
Well, that's fantastic. I really like that, and I always love simple tools and exercises that you can use. Now, in your practice, what do you teach for breathing exercises?
Well, I teach something called Dantian breathing. I'm pretty much rooted in the Taoist tradition for the meditations and the exercises I do, the Tai Chi, the Qigong, and it's all about alchemy, transforming negative energy into positive energy.
Nice.
And energy is a key principle because in life, everybody wants energy, but we think about gas, electric, heat, oil, but we don't think about our energy.
Yeah, how do we
waste our energy? How do we build it? How do we conserve it? And how do we transform the negative into positive? These are the concerns and what Taoist teachings address. So, I forgot the question.
No, that's okay. So I'm curious how you got into. How did you get into all this? Like you're very spiritual, obvious. Where did it all start? How many years have you been practicing spirituality?
Well, when I was about 19 years old, I was a very ill young man. Probably would have died if I didn't change my life.
A lot of people come into spirituality that way, yeah.
So I moved into a yoga ashram for 5 years, and it was very regimented. You know, every day we had to meditate and do yoga and do a self-analysis, pen a self-analysis every night about various aspects of our personality that we wanted to change. And we were self-employed for the group. We all did chores, and we also had to do a lot of distasteful jobs that made us go against our grain because my teacher believed that when you suffer consciously, you evolve. You know, everybody can do what they like, but can you do what you don't like? That takes discipline, especially when there's a goal involved. You know, so karate was my start with that.
Takes a lot of discipline. You need to learn how to respond rather than react to circumstances. It takes a lot of discipline. So you're into karate, you say?
Yes, karate was the first thing I did to rehabilitate, and that was very hard for me at the time. I was very fragile and not in great shape. And after I moved out of the ashram 5 years later, I went to chiropractic college, and I was really getting out of shape and putting on a lot of weight, and I said, I have to find a new master. So I got the Whole Life Times newspaper, and I was attracted to Taoist esoteric yoga. And I went to see the master. I waited 8 hours to meet with him because he was doing a seminar. And he told me what his system was about, energy development, like I just expressed. And I said, I'm in. So I actually brought him to Huntington. You know, he's an internationally famous teacher. And I've been with him ever since 1980.
Wait a minute. You brought him to Huntington. He moved here?
He moved here. We lived together for a few years. And then he went back to Thailand.
Okay.
So it was a great experience for me. I had very intimate, close instruction with him.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've been doing it every year since, I've been seeing him every year now. He comes into New York in June usually and teaches seminars.
Oh, how nice.
And I've been with him for 34 years, 35 years now.
That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. So I love how you do chiropractic. You do it in a holistic fashion rather than just the adjustments. Like we said before, you do the breathing and you do
muscle work,
stretching and balancing, exercise and yoga. That's fantastic.
And nutrition too.
And nutrition. Oh, you're in the you do nutrition as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, because talk about a holistic approach. Do you teach
mind, body, and spirit?
Do you teach the patients to do affirmations as well?
Yes, actually I do. I make people very aware of the words that they use to describe themselves. When they put limitations on their reality, I correct them and tell them they do not have limitations. Don't put yourself in a box.
That's for sure. So do you do one-on-one? Do you do classes? How do you do this?
Well, mostly one-on-one, but I also teach Tai Chi and Qi Kung classes.
Okay.
I've been
in your
seminars.
office?
No, I have another location I teach at.
Okay. And, you know, so back to adjustments, when you were talking about these subluxations and, yeah, and the nerves getting squeezed or pinched is the word you use, and how your muscles can get sore and working with them. In your book, you say that subluxations are the silent killer. Why do you say that?
Okay, well, if you think about heart disease, for example, when you have a heart attack, that's the first sign for most people that they have a problem. It's a silent disease in a sense. If you have a stroke, you don't know you're going to have a stroke. It just happens. If you have osteoporosis, you lose bone density and you fracture your bone. And you may not know you have it. So it's the same thing with subluxation. You can have subluxation and not be aware of it because there's no pain attached to it. Sometimes people get a toothache, for example, and they wake up and they call their dentist and they might not be able to get in till the next day. So the next day they wake up and the toothache is gone. Well, did the cavity go away? No, it's still there. It's just the pain went away. So people think, I must be fixed. And they do that with their spines. Like we say in chiropractic, the 5 most dangerous words are, maybe it'll go away. Because people get back pain. It's a warning sign. It's like the light in your car coming on for the oil. You don't put tape over it and make believe it doesn't exist. You have to pay attention and read the signs of your body. So a lot of illnesses are silent, and they last in your body for so many years till finally something hits a nerve,
right,
and then you have a serious issue.
Do people do chiropractic for preventative medicine?
Absolutely. The more educated patients that I have come in regularly for many years. I could tell you this, my children are 29 and 27, and they have never taken a drug.
Wow.
They have never been under medical treatment in their whole life.
And they never needed you. And
except for surgery, knee surgery.
Right. And so then you've adjusted them regularly throughout their life?
Absolutely. Throughout their whole life, from the moment they were born, they got massages and adjustments. And we've used homeopathy and herbs
big fan
and
of
vitamins.
homeopathy.
Yes.
I actually took training in it back in the 80s. I'm a big fan of homeopathy.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Homeopathy, you probably want to check it out on the internet, but it's very popular in Europe as a natural remedy for ailments, for very many ailments. You know what? We have one more commercial break. It's going to be a brief one.
Okay.
But stay tuned. Don't go too far. We're going to be back with more of Dr. Michael Posner. His book is Well Adjusted, A Journey of Transformation for Mind, Body, and Spirit. Stay tuned for more of Spirituality Rocks.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am.
Stretching under sedation or manipulation under anesthesia is a very gentle, very precise procedure to very slowly release any scar tissue that is formed as a result of a traumatic injury. Many people ask, how does this work? Will I get hurt? Will you stretch me too far? We only stretch the body part to its normal range of motion. After completing the post-MUA rehabilitation program, it's very common that our patients say to us, hey, I can play ball with my kid again. Hey, I can bowl again. Hey, I can enjoy hiking again. This is what makes it rewarding to us as practitioners.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Do dogs chase cats?
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on.
Oh. Hey, we're back with more of Spirituality Rocks. I'm your host, Janine Burns. I just want to remind you to check us out at www.spiritualityrockstv.com. We are also on Facebook as a group and a page. You can check us out there. And check out also Dr. Michael Posner, author of Well Adjusted, A Journey of Transformation for Mind, Body, Mind, and Spirit. He can be seen on the internet at www.huntingtonchiropractic.com. That's huntingtonchiropractic.com. And if you had like to have a guest on our show, please send us an email. You can do it right on the website. You can contact us, let me know. I've gotten some great ideas from that, and we've gotten some great guests coming up because of that. So do let us know if there's somebody you have in mind you'd like to have, we'd like for us to have on the show. Could you talk a little bit about posture? We're a big advocate of meditation on Spirituality Rocks. And in your book, you actually have a whole little section called posture, which I really like because I'm a big fan of posture. Mother always taught me to stand up straight. Talk to us about posture.
Well, you know, normally the spine has 3 curves, as you can see over here, the lumbar, the thoracic, and the neck. And one of the things that I've learned from Tai Chi and Qi Kung is to actually eliminate those curves by holding your body in a position that your spine gets straight. Now think about it. If you're a building and you have a beam, you don't want the beam curved because that beam is transmitting the forces from above into the earth. So part of the reason we have so much stress is because we hold our body. We're taught stick your chest out, suck your gut in, and that's completely the opposite of the way it should be. You look at children, they're relaxed chest, stomach out. When you do that, your spine gets straight, and now you're transmitting force through your body into the earth. And in Taoism, they call that the heavenly energy, which comes from the stars, the planets, the galaxies, and the moon. And it goes right into the earth energy. And we're the conduit. So we can actually tap into that like a tree getting energy from the sun. We can absorb energy instead of holding ourselves up and wasting energy. We could just relax and let it flow through us, just like a beam does in a house. So it's just by learning how to sit properly, you can be doing spiritual work.
Wonderful. Isn't that wonderful? I never thought of it that way. That's great. In your book, you speak about contrast, and I find that fascinating. Can you explain to us about contrast and explain to us it as a spiritual principle?
Okay. Well, you know, I like to use a dimmer switch as a metaphor. When you turn the dimmer up, the light is bright, you can see great in the room. If you start to slowly turn that dimmer down, you adapt to the lighting. And if I said to you, Janine, can you see okay? And you go, oh, I can see fine. And then if we stay like that for a while, you kind of think that's reality, that that's normal. Except if somebody goes and turns up the light, and then you go, wow, I didn't realize how dark it was in this room. And that is the same thing spiritually and physically and emotionally. We forget how good we can be. We forgot our nature, our true nature, and our connection to God, that's for sure. And that's why we meditate, and we pray, and we do all the practices, because we want to feel that joy again and get into that space. And when you do, I often think, this is so great. I wish I always felt like this, but then I go back into life, and it just wears me down, and I get dim again.
Okay.
So that's how I see it spiritually. So the key is we always want to keep the light high. And when you do, you start to realize that you're not always in that spot. So contrast is very important. It shows you where you're at, but you need something to change where you're at. So chiropractically speaking, if you come into me and you're not feeling that great, and then I adjust you and open up all your energies in your body and balance out your muscles and your structure, you're going to say, wow, I never thought I felt as bad as I did. You know?
Right, because the contrast of how much
Exactly.
better you feel now, right. Well, I also, you know, I'm really into the tools of affirmation. I think it's really important that you take time every single day and get yourself a list of affirmations. Make some I am statements. I am is the name of God within you. And as you do that, you can really support yourself to affect a great change in your emotions and your life experience. So I think that's really important for you to do them. And I know I have a whole list that I'm working with right now in areas of my life that I want to live more full out. I want to live in a greater way. I want to live with ease. I want to live with great joy and a real sense of peace of mind. Also, affirmative prayer is a huge tool, and I love the breathing exercise you spoke of. I like the inner smile meditation, because when we meditate, that's our opportunity to hear and to listen. And the more we are willing to meditate, the more we are intuitively guided. Some people get like a sense in their gut. And when I came into the studio today, I said, my intuition is telling me, intuition is telling me. It might be a repetitive idea or something, or you may just have like this feeling. And then a prayer, of course, is when we are talking to God. And our friend Karen Balistrieri, who did Essential Oil, she did a little longer prayer than I'm used to, but prayer is another opportunity. And I just want to invite the audience to check out Centers for Spiritual Living, check out affiliated New Thought Network, so you can look up newthought.org. Our friend Dr. Harry Morgan Moses is newthought.com, DennisMerrittJones.com, TempleHayes.com. These are all people who teach the skills of affirmative prayer, where you identify that the presence and power of God expresses in you, through you, and as you, that you're one with this power. You state that which you choose to experience in the positive or affirmative, and then give thanks. Why? Because feeling is the fuel that propels your thoughts into manifestation. So the simple prayer is, God is, I am, and the truth is. So with that in mind, I would just like to say an affirmative prayer for Spirituality Rocks, giving thanks knowing there's one presence and power, expressing in and through everybody involved in the show. And there are a lot of people behind the scenes that make this show the success that it is. And so I affirm and know that we have all the divine ideas, all the circumstances necessary for the show to continue to uplift and inspire people to uncover their divine nature and have a greater experience of it. I give thanks knowing that right action is taking place here and now, and so it is. Amen.
Amen.
So that's a simple affirmative prayer.
That's great.
That's a simple affirmative prayer. I want to thank you so much, Dr. Michael Posner.
Pleasure.
Your book, Well Adjusted. How can people get a hold of this journey to transformation of body, mind, and spirit?
Well, they can call my office at 631-351-6111, and we'd be happy to get a copy right out to you in the mail. Or you can stop by and pick it up.
631-351?
6111.
Okay, well, you may not know this. I may even tell you, but we've got viewers in Japan and India. Are you willing to ship to other countries?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, good, because we have a wider viewer audience. Okay, great. That's fantastic. I also want to remind the people, check out womensgoldrushconference.com, March 13th to the 15th. That is going to be spectacular. I was there last year. I'm so excited about this year. Don't forget the cruise, Cruising in Consciousness. That is going to be, this is 2015. It's going to be April 16th to the 20th, and that is newthought.com, newthought.com. Well, next week we have with us Barbara Gold-Branson and Stephanie Wilson-Coleman. We're going to talk about love because it's going to be Valentine's weekend. Reverend Barbara Gold-Branson wrote the book on your soulmate and on how to attract love. Mm-hmm. And Champagne Connection is Stephanie Wilson-Coleman. She talks about the Champagne Connection, and she's all about women's empowerment. And so I invite you to tell your friends, check us out on Facebook, and remember that there's a presence and power that expresses in you, through you, and as you, that wants you to live a rewarding, productive, and peaceful life. The power is within you. You can do it. Thank you, Dr. Michael Posner, for being with us on Spirituality Rocks.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week. So this is Janine Burns signing off on Spirituality Rocks.